He talks about the scene on Friday afternoon. Nobody wants to see that. My response was to recognise the urgency of the need to repair the breach, which is why I spoke to President Trump and President Zelensky on Friday night and again on Saturday night, and are continuing in that work, because for me the single most important thing is lasting peace in Europe and Ukraine, and nothing is going to deter me from that or lose my focus on that. On the dependency on the US, I don't agree with him. The US and the UK have the closest of relationships. Our defence, our security, our intelligence are completely intertwined. No two countries are as close as our two countries, and it'd be a huge mistake at a time like this to suggest that any weakening of that link is the way forward for security and defence in Europe. On the question of a rearmament bank, yes, I do think we should continue discussions with others as to what the possibilities could be, and that formed some of the discussion yesterday with our allies. Again, on assets, he knows the situation is complicated, but there are ongoing discussions. I spoke at length with the Canadian Prime Minister yesterday because we had a bilateral meeting as well as the meeting with other colleagues, in which I was able to assure him of our strong support for Canada, a close ally of ours, a strong supporter of Ukraine, and Canada had led the way on the training that's been so vital to Ukraine. So they were very welcome at the table yesterday. In relation to the ambassador's comments, look, the plan is clear. We're working particularly with the French. I've had extensive conversations with President Macron over the last week, intensively over the weekend, talking to Ukraine as well. Those are going on at the moment, and the intention is to then have discussions with the United States in relation to that plan. So as soon as the details are available, I'll share them with the House, but they are still being worked on at the moment. There's no guarantee of success, but I'm not going to let up until we have done everything we can to ensure peace in Europe and peace for Ukraine.
Chair of the Defence Select Committee, Tamanji Singh Desi.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I welcome the Prime Minister's statement and the warmth of his welcome and hugs for President Zelensky and his show of leadership on defence and security matters in our continent as he hosted his Sunday summit of leaders in London. Can the Prime Minister, my right honourable friend, assure the House that in our pursuit for a just, lasting peace, that he will do his level best to convince President Trump to provide security guarantees for Ukraine, and that he will convince those NATO allies not spending 2% on defence to step up to the plate and do much more?
Well, on both fronts. Firstly, yes, of course, I'm talking to President Trump about security guarantees. That formed a large part of our discussion on Thursday and our subsequent discussions. I think it is right that Europe does the forward-leaning on this, that we have to do more on security guarantees, but it does need a US backing to those guarantees, and that is the very discussion that I'm having. On the question of spending, I think that across Europe, in this era, we now have to step up on capability, coordination and on spending, and that did form part of our discussions yesterday.